Hi guys, how are you doing? Hmm. Today I want to talk about husband and wife material. All our conversations between now and next year are going to be tailored to new year, new you. How to um, make yourself better in the new year. So, the first thing I want to talk about is, let me start with the guys. Husband material. Must love his mother, but must not be a mommy's boy. How are you able to get that balance? You want a man that will love his mother, but you don't want a man whose mother will control your lives. You want a man who can stand up in love to his mother to protect you. You don't want a man whose mother will control you. It's very important. First and most important step. Secondly, you need a man that has good personal hygiene. You need a man that has good personal hygiene. It's very important. Thirdly, you need a man who has leadership qualities. By leadership qualities, I don't mean a politician. I don't mean a man trying to be a member of House of Reps. No, a man who can lead the home. A man who can lead the home. A priest over your home. Your husband is going to be a decision maker in your home. You need a man that can lead you. A lot of people seem to, you see, poverty plays a number on people's minds. If you were raised in poverty or surrounded in poverty, you most likely be on one of the extremes of poverty. One of the extremes is, I'm so poor, money can solve all my problems. And the second one is, I am so rich that I need to maintain this status because money has been solving my problems. So you have that mentality. There's no balance. Abroad, you will see a professor who earns $60,000 a year, rides his bicycle to school, does not need Gucci, does not need Versace. He wants to be able to go on holiday with his wife once or twice a year. He wants to sit down in the park and read to his grandkids. His value system is totally different from the poverty-induced value system. More black Americans drive Mercedes than Oyinbo Americans. Why? Because they see the Mercedes as a symbol. It makes me look bigger than the next person. It gives me this air of I have arrived. So they drive a Mercedes Benz, they shop at Gucci, they wear Ferragamo, they have a Rolex on their wrist. It gives you something. It comes from poverty mentality. Because unless you are let me give you an example. There's a champagne called Cristal Champagne. I used to have a friend in Romania who was gypsy. That year, when did they do Odu? Eastern Bloc Europe Odu. This guy used to have a bottle of Cristal by his bed. in a champagne cooler, in a champagne bucket with ice. As in, if they finish them, they bring another one. If they finish them, they bring another one. Nobody comes to his room except very few people. When he goes to the club, because he always wants to have his head correct, he drinks water. Now, the second type is the one that goes to the club and pops champagne. Before going out to that club, he eats Indomie because that's all he can afford. Then he goes to the club and starts popping 10 bottles, 5 bottles, 8 bottles. One person genuinely likes the taste of that expensive champagne. The other person likes to show himself popping that champagne. So yes, there are a few people who actually like Gucci and Rolex, and I'm a watch connoisseur. I like my watches. Even if I was the only person living in the world, I'll still like to wear nice watches. I don't care. I can wear a $5 t-shirt. I say it all the time. I don't care about my clothes, my shoes, my watch, my car. I like jewelry, but jeans. My jeans are like 40 pounds or 30 pounds. I know if you buy jeans 100 pounds, to me it's a waste of money. But what am I trying to say at the end of the day is the Nigerian, the Black African mentality has ruined the way we think. So what we do is we tend to be very material in our consciousness. And it is not your fault. The government is messed up, so you're going to have to feed your mother in old age. So you need to be material. You cannot live a life that is devoid of material things, because you need material things to sort out problems that professor in America who is riding his bicycle does not have. He does not have a relative in Nigeria who needs to be fed. He does not have a cousin's friend who has a child that needs to go to school. No. Between him and his wife, his 2 kids and their grandkids, what they have is enough for them. You'll be amazed that he even has savings. He wears his $10 t-shirt, wears his $20 shoes, $15 pants, and lives a good life, because his good life is not determined by what you think about him. In Nigeria, you can't live a good life if that good life does not conform to what people expect of you. If I drove the same car in Nigeria for 5 years, it looked like I'm not progressing. One girl came to my house and I said, yes, I used to have this Honda Accord. I'd been driving it for like 7 years. Almost mint then. She looked at the car and said, you're still driving this car. You have to change it to, it looks like stagnation, like you are not growing. So it is car that will make it look like I'm growing or I'm not growing. Me, I even like cars, but I was now like, is this why I'm changing my car? Am I changing my car because I really want to have a nice car? Or I'm changing my car because of what people will think of me at a certain light? So when you come to marrying Nigerians, you've got to be careful, because they all suffer from poverty mentality. All of us. Because it's either you're trying to impress or you are trying to gada because you have people depending on you. You never have enough. You are not trained to, the Bible says contentment is great gain. Let me read you the verse, even though this is not a sermon. First Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. Godliness with contentment is in itself great wealth. New International Version says great gain. The Greek Bible says porismos, that's the word, gain. Porismos mega, he esobia meta oterikes, which means gain great is godliness with contentment. So the problem we have in Nigeria is we're not trained to be content. We're not trained to raise our children to be content. It's not our fault. The society has failed on so many levels that if you are contentment, if you manage and escape hunger, you will hunger in retirement. So you have created a system around you that empowers poverty mentality, and you tend to believe that money can solve all problems. And when you are choosing a partner, you are tending towards making a financial commitment instead of an emotional commitment. You are tending, even if you're not looking at him, you're looking at his future financial potential. I don't know if I'm connecting with you. You are looking at where is this guy going in the future. Even if he's broke now and you say, okay, I'm going to marry you now, there's still going to be a caveat. I'm going to marry you now, you're broke now, but I want to know where you're going. So as a woman, why are you making this grave error? Why are you... I used to tell my kids this all the time. Get a career that will make you happy. Get a career that will make you happy, not a career that will make you money. Because if you are broke, but you're happy, is better than if you're rich and you're unhappy. Abroad, you will see people who earn $30,000 a year. What job do? They are zookeepers. They love the zoo. They love animals. They can't believe that they are waking up every day to play with an anaconda, to take care of the anaconda. And those jobs are not well-paying jobs. But you hear of somebody who has been working in the zoo for 50 years. You see people who will explore. Some make money from it, some don't. You would genuinely see people who do what they love and find happiness in it, whether they make money from it or not. You can't find those in Nigeria because their kids will not look up to them as, oh, my father followed his passion. They will look and say, my father was poor because he was stupid. And I don't want to be stupid. So I'm not going to be like my father. Even I'm guilty. As a young kid, I liked birds. I still have pigeons till now. I like playing with birds. I could go the whole day watching birds. But the moment I went to ISI, that's my secondary school, my perception of life changed. I now had to have good shoes. I now did not need to have good shoes. I need to have the best shoes. Because if you have good shoes, you always see somebody who has better shoes than you have. So I started looking at material things that I was not looking at before I entered that school. I started making decisions that were leaning on materialism. And before you knew it, I'd switched over. From a young, innocent boy that liked animals and liked, to a guy that wants to drive the latest car, wants to wear the latest clothes, wants to date the finest girl. And many of you, out of either the poverty of your parents, you don't want to be like your parents. I remember my dad never had the nicest cars. He had okay cars, but he never had the nice. I wanted to have the nicest cars. And true, in my estate, I not see anybody we get my kind motor. Nobody said they make them out. But you understand? That became my reality. That became my reality. And I realized that the more money you have, the more money you want. There's no enough when it comes to money. And you need, as a woman or as a man, while looking for that special person in 2025, to actually start identifying traits that money cannot buy. And you need to stop allowing people that are blinded by either the love for money or the lack of it. Two problems with money: the love of it and the lack of it. The Bible says the love of money is the beginning of all evil. The lack of it is the end of all evil. That's where all evil ends. Somebody said money never brings happiness. Try poverty. It brings unhappiness. Money might not, wealth might not give. That's why the billionaire son in Ikoyi of a billionaire offed himself the other day on top marriage, work. Came from he lived in Ikoyi, was wealthy, father wealthy, grew up. Money cannot bring him happiness. But poverty will bring you unhappiness. Not can, will. 100% poverty will bring you unhappiness. Because they will collect your babe. Your children will talk to you anyhow. There was somebody in our church that his children ganged up and woozed him because he was not giving them any money. So, the love of money brings evil. So if you have a spouse, or if you have become someone who loves money so much and all your decisions are taken because of money, then you are in trouble. Now, don't marry those kind of people and don't become those kind of people. Secondly, the lack of money. When you lack money, you have the tendency to believe that money will solve all your problems. Because in all honesty, what's your problem? You don't have food. Money will solve it. Your roof is leaking. Money will solve it. They stole your girlfriend. Why did they collect your girlfriend? The guy has more money than you. If I have more money, I will get my girl back, or I'll get a new girl. Money will solve it. My children have dropped out of school. There is no money. Money will solve that problem. Now, you've got to be very careful. The kind of people that speak to your spouse or your spouse to be. When choosing a spouse, husband material, who are his friends? Someone said, but money answereth all things. Nope. Money does not answer anything. Now, when you get money, now you go realize there are things that money cannot answer. I'll give you an example. Ferrari just released the car. What do they call it? The new Ferrari. Like, Bill Gates cannot go and get it. They share it to their customers according to loyalty to the brand, not money. So Bill Gates can have all the money in the world, Ferrari will not sell it to him. Google it. Let's go to Google, all of us. Celebs that can't own Ferraris. Just Google it. Celebs that can't buy Ferraris. Just type it in. And scroll down. These Ferraris can never buy Ferraris again. I'll start listing all the celebs. Tigger. According to TMZ, the popular tabloid news outlet, Tigger leased a 2012 Rolls-Royce Ghost and a Ferrari 458 Spider of the same model back in 2016. However, before the lease on the car ended, Tigger prematurely stopped making the payments, and thus the cars got repossessed. Furthermore, the company reported that the rapper still owed them around $45,000 on the Ferrari and almost double that on the Ghost. Therefore, the company sued Tigger for the amount, including legal fees and interest. While these reports may be exaggerated, the bad publicity alone, with Ferrari's name attached, would ensure the rapper can never get considered to buy a Ferrari again. Ferrari will never sell their car to him again, simply because he buy, he no pay. You no buy from them, but as long as in name they link to Ferrari and finish, that's all. Any amount of money he has in his life, they will not sell it to him. Popular automotive journalist and critic Chris Harris wrote an article titled "How Ferrari Spins for Jalopniks" in 2011. In it, he claimed that the superstar brand from Italy optimized their test cars in a particular fashion to ensure the best possible results in performance tests for magazines, which aren't symmetrical with mass production variants. Naturally, the accusation did not sit well with Ferrari, and they banned him from their list of journalists entitled to loaner cars, even though Chris Harris claims had quite the reputation among Ferrari enthusiasts. Although his online presence, it would almost be a certainty that the company won't be getting him a car again. Justin Bieber. What did Justin Bieber do? He wrapped the car in electric blue. And then he wrapped the logo. Finish. 50 cents. 50 cents Ferrari broke down, and he posted it on social media that his car broke down. Finish. They're not selling to him again. You should go and buy from Lamborghini. Kim Kardashian changed the color of her Ferrari. Finish. They are not selling to her again. Floyd Mayweather bought a Ferrari, got tired of it within 1 year, and sold it. If you buy a Ferrari, you cannot resell it within the first 1 year you bought it. A whole Floyd Mayweather, they struck him off the list. He cannot buy a Ferrari. He can go and buy a second-hand one. He cannot buy from a Ferrari dealer, and he cannot customize a Ferrari ever again. Nicolas Cage, what did Nicolas Cage do? He had to sell his car to pay his tax debt. Ferrari does not like that. They removed him. Black China, what did Black China do? Black China loves attention, but one of her ways of getting the attention didn't quite sit well with Ferrari. According to reports, her crime was that she showed off 2 custom Ferraris wrapped in bright pink, while the other was fitted with a bright set of wheels. Ferrari doesn't take too kindly to its customers who use the brand for attention. Now you get your motor, now you get your money. So when you tell me that money can solve all problems, how does money solve that problem? So you want to buy the latest Ferrari that you have to be on the line for, on a queue for. How do you get it? You think money can solve? You think that you can walk into Maranello and tell them? They're not going to answer you. They don't send you. So the notion that money can buy all things is made by people who don't have money. When you have money, you realize that there are limits. A good woman will follow her poor husband. If you like, dangle all the money in the world in front of her. Someone said owning a luxury car is not a problem, though. It's somebody's problem. It's Kim Kardashian's problem. She has all the money in the world, but she can't get one. Money can't solve every problem. Money, you'll be amazed that money cannot solve 10% of your real problems. Money solves problems of people who are in poverty. You think Elon Musk needs money to solve his problems? His problems are, how do we get the rocket? He has the money. Then the scientist that is working on it now decides that he wants to go to Microsoft. You see, let me give you an example. Very good. Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. They nominated the two of them for Ballon d'Or. And Messi won it. What can his money, what can Ronaldo's money do for him? Tell me. You see, when you are poor, all your problems are solved by money. But when you have gotten out of poverty, you now realize that what you really want, who remembers that day? They nominated Ronaldo. Ronaldo went home crying. Money can, oh, you want to go and tell them to do another Ballon d'Or for you? Money cannot solve that problem. For that year, Messi was rated better than him. Money could not solve that problem. He was depressed. The moment you get out of poverty, you will understand that money cannot solve your problem. It's when you are in poverty, or when you are surrounded by poverty, or when you have poverty mindset that you think that money can solve your problem. You think, Ronaldo, how much more money does Ronaldo have than they don't? At that point, it was Ballon d'Or. That was what was the problem. Who's going to take it? And it's not like Nigeria that you can bribe the officials. Do you understand what I'm saying? Will Smith went on stage and whacked Chris Rock. How has his career been since then? You think money can solve that problem? Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Ever since Will Smith climbed stage, whacked Chris Brown, what direction has his career pointed? You think he doesn't have money? He's a millionaire in dollars. He's a multi-millionaire. He never recovered. He cannot buy it back with money. Unless maybe he can buy a time machine and rewind time back to 5 minutes before that incident. Talk to me, work with me. The Bible says money solves all problems. The Bible is wrong, and it is wrong in many things. The Bible says that the sun and the moon were created 4 days after day and night were created. The Bible is wrong. Money cannot solve all problems. I've given you 2 problems that money cannot solve. Someone said, Bad Boy did great numbers. Yeah. But look at Will Smith's career after that. Think of Will Smith before the incident and now. Think of it. Think of it. Honestly, rate it. Will Smith is a meme up and down crying. You know how we used to look at Will Smith? He now looks like a weakling. Like Tupac was benching his wife. Kind of weakling. Bad Boy did not do well because of Will Smith. So it was because of Martin Lawrence. Don't let anybody fool you. And because of the Bad Boy brand. If they had removed Will Smith and put Anthony Joshua, it would have still done well. It's not because of him that it did well. His rating dropped. You see, eh? Now, still buttressing my argument. Did Will Smith buy his ratings back? If his ratings are going up, is it with money? It's not money. Money cannot do anything. Money is useless to you there. He will now go back to his drawing board and start acting again. It has nothing to do with money. Let's even imagine that Will Smith is back to the... Will Smith's ratings dropped. His image dropped because of the issue with Chris Rock. Let's come back home today. Let's imagine his ratings have ranked back to number 1. Is it money? He used to get it. Money does nothing in that equation. They are not going to pay him more than Martin Lawrence because he has more money. They're going to pay him more than Martin Lawrence because he's going to act, because he's going to show skill, because he's going to be more dedicated, not because of money. Money couldn't solve that problem. Do you understand my example, or do I need to buttress it more? What part did money play in the role of solving the problem? Let's hear it. You see, when you say money solves all problems, it means you are either poor or greedy. How did money solve his problem? If he was broke and acted well and went to the right places, he will still have solved the problem. He didn't need money. You need money to solve your problem because you are suffering from 2 things, greed or poverty. If money can solve all your problems, you are one of 2 things, greedy or poor. If you are not greedy and you are not poor, you don't need money to solve your problems. How did money solve Will Smith's problem? They are laughing at him everywhere. Jada is doing live show. Jada is coming to say her own side of the story. Your own wife is using you to catch crews. Your own wife is using your numbers to build numbers, releasing your private conversations on air to sell her show that still did not sell. Let me give you an example. Will Smith's son, Jaden. How did Will Smith's money make him a rapper? Will Smith's connection. Will Smith's money. How many songs does Jaden have? Maybe 3. Talk to me. How did Will Smith's money help his kids to become anything great? Meanwhile, Will Smith did not come from wealth. and he built wealth. He had wealth and his children could not multiply it. So money will solve all your problems if you are two things. You are greedy and you are poor. So in 2025, when picking somebody to spend the rest of your life with, avoid poor people and greedy people. Poor is 80% mentality and mindset. So Daddy Freeze, the people that are poor, we should not marry them. The poverty is 80% because of the way they think. And poverty is like quicksand. The more you struggle, the more it sucks you in. Most people who are poor have poor parents. Because if your parents were rich, it will not be likely that you'll be poor. Poor people have poor parents. And when you have poor parents, your parents are going to rely on you to sort them out. Which means if they have younger children, you will be responsible for those children. You don't want poor people. You don't want to spend your life with somebody who comes from poverty. The load is very heavy, especially if you are a man. Never marry a woman that comes from poverty. She will overload you and she will compromise. And you see, let me tell you something here. If my wife cheats on me, it will pain me. Will it pain her sister? Will it pain her cousin? Even if it pains them, will it pain them as much as it pains me? Let me explain this to you. My wife's cousin needs to go to the USA and he needs money to relocate and he needs 10 million naira. If my wife goes to sleep with some sugar daddy, he will give her the 10 million naira. Do you think her cousin will really be bothered where the 10 million naira came from? He might not be happy about it, but he will not be devastated. Maybe her mom might be unhappy about it. But if it is solving problems, the person that it will pain will be you. So just understand that when you marry somebody that comes from poverty, the shoe will be biting only you in some places. They'll be consoling you. If your wife goes to sleep with her boss so that she can bring home money, there is a level to which if you talk, they will laugh at you again. Be careful with people who are impoverished. They are always looking for what to get them out of that poverty. And you will look handsome, you will look attractive, you will look until they get out of poverty and then you are no longer at their level. So many men will share this testimony with you. Oh, pop my money gun if you're watching on TikTok. Somebody just bought me a cake. Pop my money gun if you're watching on TikTok, if you're enjoying this. There are so many men that will share their stories with you. I met this girl. She had nothing. She loved me. I saw her through university. Emmy boy, thank you so much. I saw her through university. I paid, I made sure, and the girl genuinely loved them. until the girl graduated, went for NYSC, and realized that her husband at home is just a trader. And then now she has access to a doctor, a good-looking doctor. And the doctor is saying, you know what, I want to marry you. There are very few people who are not educated who can keep up a conversation with educated people. Educated people always marry themselves. My sister, Dr. Lola, married her husband, Prof. She has PhD economics. Her husband is professor of economics. They speak the same language. I am not sure somebody who does not have BSc can marry my sister. What are people going to talk about? Tell me, what are people going? You imagine a trader who is wealthy but dropped out at school set. And my sister, she was in somewhere high 2 days ago. My sister is an expert on migration. That's why I said I was going to bring her one of these days, and you people just ask her a few questions about migration. My sister wrote her PhD thesis on migration, the economic importance of migration. Jackpa down. My sister went to the north to, as in, full field research, field work. As in, what do you want to tell her? Unless she just falls in love with you. But guess what? It will be hard for you as a trader, because you will notice that you can't keep up conversations unless you are very intelligent and you are willing to quickly learn. Because what will now happen is you will now want to brag to her that you have money. Hey, forget all this book that you are reading. I have the money. But you will always be feeling short, because when her friends, fellow PhD holders, professors, come around and they sit down and the conversation is about what their field is, you will just be there. You will carry your phone. Nne Okafor, the container has landed. I will call you back. So unless you are ready to very quickly up your game, unless you are going to agree that in this economics she knows it more than you might know, but you have to be very humble. You have to be very humble, and you have to understand that this woman senior me for this book. I have to be willing to allow her to take the lead, because if you can't tell her and say, no, I am richer than you, I'm richer than your father, your mother that is professor of law, I'm still richer than her. What is this, professor? What has it gotten for you? What? They're going to use lingual terms. They curse you. Go sit down with them. They're going to curse you. No, say now you they curse. Sorry, because the example I use, somebody don't they talk and no, I wasn't talking about Igbo. I was talking, could be a Yoruba man or a Hausa man. We not go school. So what am I trying to say in essence is, you have to pick. They say when cockroach, when it grew, when it reach maturity, you know, the begin they look for house fly when one marry. Go look for cockroach like himself. When one marry, in cockroach no they look for pigeon. Maybe they waka make 2 cockroach and say, wait, I they look for one pigeon where I want date. No. You will see cockroach, they look for cockroach. Fly, they look for fly. Butterfly, they look for butterfly. Pigeon, they look for pigeon. Goat, they look for goats. Fowl, they look for fowl. Duck fowl, they look for duck fowl. Someone said I'm an Igbo man and I'm well educated. I'm a Yoruba man and I'm not particularly well educated. I just have a BSc. It's just that I'm self-taught in many fields. So I didn't take a shot at Igbo men. I just gave that example because it was the closest to my hand. And just swapping the Igbo man and it can be allergy. Ṣé ẹ ti gbé ẹran dé, ẹ ti gbé trailer ẹran dé, ẹ bá ń sọ ọgbẹ́ ẹ̀ kalẹ̀, ń tẹ̀wó sí èló ní 25 million. Màá tẹ̀ fún yín sìn, màá tẹ̀ 25 million, 5 million yòókù yẹn màá tẹ̀ tí tó bá di 12 midnight, màá tẹ̀ fún yín sìn. Can be anybody. I'm not saying business is bad, but I'm saying you need to start understanding the kind of people that are in your circle. And sometimes money is good, but there are many things money cannot buy. There are many things money cannot buy. So this wife material, husband material, we're going to continue tomorrow again. Is a topic. Pop my money gun if you're enjoying it. Oh yeah, pop my money gun. Wife material, husband material. For Lighton said the way they describe women is the same way they describe Ashanti men. Money cannot buy intelligence. You understand? I've never dated a stupid person before. I'm not one to date foolish people. That's not me. Any day I will not do that. But if there's anything I've noticed in this life, it is that when you have a smart person, there is a tendency to enjoy the relationship more than when you have a stupid person around you. Another reason why you should not date people that are poor, you don't know their character. You see that rich man, you know in character. He's proud, you know it. He's cocky, you know it. He talks anyhow. You see that poor, that person is poor. Some people, they don't need money, just visa, make visa touch their hand, make them come out for Nigeria, you go see their real character. Just visa, say they go UK, where things they okay. You don't know their character straight. Avoid people with history of poverty. Don't try to be a messiah. Don't try to be a messiah. Those people that don't, especially women, there are some women that I call them Judas goats. What is a Judas goat? A Judas goat is that goat that leads other goats to the slaughterhouse. The Judas goat, they know the slaughter ram, but will not bring everybody come the slaughterhouse. He will be rewarded. Some parents, they use their daughters. They'll just send them out into the world to go and gather things and bring home. They will go out there and you will think you've met them, You see, if you meet a woman and she has a plethora of problems that her father cannot solve, that her mother cannot solve, and she cannot solve, run from that woman. Because you are the problem solver. You meet a woman who has problems that she cannot solve, her father cannot solve, and her mother cannot solve. Just know, say you be problem solver. Now your delineation ain't be that. Especially if the problems are financial. Avoid them. Because they are traps. Even if they manage to travel out, for instance, they go to Yankee, where thing, that cesspit back home will continue drinking their blood with straw. And the things that people are supposed to be working to put together to build your future, the past will be sucking it away faster than you can replenish. Someone say, what if she's an orphan? Donate to the orphanage. Make sure they are well fed. If you want to marry them, I'd rather marry an orphan than a girl from a poor home. I would rather marry an orphan that is poor because she has no ties to the poverty. She is poor with no ties to poverty than somebody who has living relatives that are poor. You see that orphan, not only she, the two of you fit solve her problem, or you fit solve her problem. So some people make it look like an orphan is better. Oh. Some people get papa and mama in poverty. The papa and mama born 5 children. You dey poor and your bola still they stand. Your quick still they wet. No be juju be that. Then you not get money for gold circle. You not get money for postinor. Then somebody came to me the other day, Daddy Freeze, my wife wants to give birth. I don't have money. I don't have work. You not get work. Bola how they stand. You not even fit do withdrawal. You throw away a camo inside. Then na Daddy Freeze go come help you pay. Block, delete. Block, delete. It is better to marry an orphan that is poor than to marry a girl from a poor home, unless you are very wealthy. So I'm not talking to the wealthy guy. Wealthy guys, you can marry anybody you like. You be like AA. You can marry anybody you like. You can marry AS. Wealth, person will get plenty money. Now like person will get genotype AA. You can marry anyone or anything you like. It not go affect you. But you see, you will be AS. You not for marry AS, so you not for marry SS, so person will get AA if you marry SC, if you marry SS. Nobody not go affect the children. But you will be AS and you will be SS. Now only AA you feel marry you. Just as there is genotype limitation, or there are genotype limitations, there are also financial circles and limitations out of which you cannot marry. The girl is so beautiful, the girl is so cute, oh, she's so fine, oh, she's so this. You now go and marry her from a poor family. It be like say you get AS. You can't find AS way cute. You won't come marry him, and you not get money to they check the pikin for belle. If the pikin na SS, you will come out and you try again. Now people will get money, they check them for belle. So we're going to continue with this. Wife material, husband material. We've only touched finances. We never go far. Tomorrow we continue again. I want to end here. Be very careful. Now, when you are abroad, you may meet a woman that is not poor, but how much of her resources are going to take care of her poor family? It must be a consideration, because you will never grow. The growth is the two of you pulling your resources together and moving up the ladder. Do you know? Do you realize? Pop my money gun if you're watching on TikTok. Do you realize that sometimes your children, somebody said, let the poor breathe. I'm teaching you a life lesson. You will play around with all the terminologies and all the emotions of it and miss the point. And then you will cry in future. If you don't listen to what I'm saying, you will cry. Some of you are in relationships with people who are potentially disasters. They are poverty traps. You will not be able to grow, because they themselves cannot grow, because all their life they are using it to take care of. It's okay when you are wealthy, but you, where they manage, You won't come go carry poverty. You be like person we get AS. We won't go carry AS. Wala long wow. Now problem you they find oh. Now you can take the gamble if the person has prospects. You see this person and wow, this person has prospects. You can take the gamble. But I need to warn you. Sometimes the reason why your husband's family or your wife's family are because they made stupid decisions. Poverty is in bed with stupidity. Make it make sense to me. My boss at Cool FM had only 2 daughters, but our gate man had 2 wives and 11 children. Make it make sense. The Oga Patapata that owned the whole company had 2 daughters. Then our security guard that is earning minimum wage has 2 wives and 11 children. Make it make sense. Poverty and bad decisions often go hand in glove. Do you know it is easier to save a family from poverty if it is just the father, the mother, and 2 children, and you are marrying one of them, than a father, a mother, a father, 2 mothers, and 11 children, and you are marrying their firstborn. I know a guy that married a firstborn that came from a family where the father had like 9 children from one wife, and then the father died. And this guy used to come home to his house. He used to go home around 11. From the sitting room, people, they sleep for floor. He would cross over people to get to his bedroom. Now life be that. So 2 things you should worry for: poverty and greed. Greed is as bad as poverty. Now, I want to end with this. Marry people who have broken out of poverty. Like a young woman who has a job, who can stand on her own. So when you come to her, the 2 of you can, even if you are both earning above minimum wage, let me tell you, when you marry from poverty, that minimum wage, as a minimum wage, they go drain down from your hand. You find it hard to grow. Poverty is like quicksand. The more you struggle, the more it will suck you in. And I'm not saying it from a bad place. I'm saying it. Now, if you come from poverty, sometimes you have to sit down with your family and tell them, I need you guys to give me some space. Let me go and figure out my life. This is how much I can manage to send you people monthly. Whatever is wrong, fit it into that. I can't do more than that. I need to grow. I have to grow. If I grow, I can come back and help you. We'll continue with the conversation. We'll continue with the conversation tomorrow. God bless you. I know I'll be misquoted, but those of you that watch the whole thing will know what I'm saying is true. And this might be what will save you in 2025. We'll continue with the topic tomorrow. God bless.